You're walking up to bat and you have all sorts of racing thoughts. Will I strike out? What will my stats look like if I do get out? I have to get a hit here. I can't let my teammates down. Now, when you have all of those thoughts, do you think they are helpful? Are those thoughts helping you get into the best mindset to hit? If you find yourself consistently underperforming during games and you feel like you aren't hitting up to your potential, then the answer to that question is absolutely not. Those thoughts are only holding you back, which is why I'm going to go over a strategy that you can use to hit with a calm mind. And make sure you stay to the end because I'm going to go over what you actually need to do after you are at bat to help get yourself into a good mindset for your next at bat. Now, where do you feel like this overthinking comes from? What causes you to overthink? Because I'm going to guess that you've had a coach tell you to not think so much when you hit, and you don't want to think so much when you hit because you know this is only holding you back. So why is this overthinking there? One of the major reasons that I see both baseball and softball hitters overthink is because of performance anxiety. When you hit with performance anxiety, what this causes you to do is hit with all of these worries on your mind. And one of the key defining factors or characteristics of sports performance anxiety is that you think about the future. So your mind is fixed on what might happen. And we see a parallel between that idea of what might happen and all of these racing thoughts that you have before you go up to the plate and when you are hitting, right? The racing thoughts that I gave as the example at the beginning of the video were, will I strike out? What will my stats look like? Will my teammates be upset with me? Will I let everybody down? Do you see how all of those thoughts have to do with the future? What we need to start doing is reeling all of that attention back in to the present moment. If you want to hit with a calm mind, it's not that you're wanting to hit with a dull mind. It's not that you're wanting to be, a step behind. If anything, when you hit with a calm mind, you are quicker because you don't have all of these racing thoughts weighing you down and slowing your reactions down when you hit. So if we think about this anxiety, we think about these future thoughts, these outcome-oriented thoughts, we start to see why this overthinking is there in the first place. But understanding why the overthinking is there in the first place, that doesn't necessarily do us any good when it comes to managing the overthinking or even getting rid of the overthinking and getting you to hit with a calm mind. But what it does do is help us see that when you're so focused on the outcome of your at-bat, we see a significant drop in the production that you have at bat because we see an increase in this anxiety and this overthinking. So if we know that you're thinking so much about the outcome, what do we need to do? Well, we need to work on bringing your attention more onto the process of your game. And the way that we bring your attention more onto the process of your game as a hitter is by utilizing routines. So that's what this strategy is all about. We are breaking it down into 3 different routines. The first routine that you want to be focused on is a pregame routine. Now, if you want to hit with a calm mindset, right? So you want to go up to bat in the calmest mindset that you can have. You're nice and relaxed, nice and focused. Your mind's not racing all over the place. Wouldn't it make sense for us to try to get you into that mindset before the game even begins? With this pregame routine, we want to break it down into 2 different phases. The first phase will be the night before phase, and then the second phase will be the day of. So let's start with the night before. So the night before your game, you want to make sure that you are taking actions to begin building your confidence, helping yourself relax, but most importantly, getting prepared for the game. So that preparation is what I want to talk about first. You want to get as prepared as you need in order to help yourself hit with a calmer mindset the next day. Now, there are kind of 2 different approaches to being prepared, and a lot of it relies on how much information you have access to. So one kind of type of getting prepared involves going into as much detail as you can on the pitcher that you'll be facing the next day. If you know the starting pitcher and you have a lot of information, and especially if you have some film or some video on them, you want to review that and get very familiar with what type of pitches they throw, What's their pattern? So what type of pitches do they throw in different counts, different situations? Do they normally start batters off with a fastball? If they have runners in scoring position, do they normally start batters off with off-speed pitches? So go through all that preparation, because if you go through that preparation and you feel, as prepared as you can get for the pitcher that you'll face the next day, that preparation helps calm your mind down. Now, with this preparation, I'm referring to mental preparation, so kind of some homework and some studying that you can do. But of course, there's also the preparation that you need to make sure you're doing with training, but I'm just assuming that you are already taking advantage of the training as much as possible. Now, the other kind of camp or way of thinking with the preparation is, do your research for the next day, know whether you're facing a righty or lefty, but maybe you don't want to go into that much detail on the pitcher, because if you go into too much detail, it could actually worsen your overthinking. And now I've worked with both types of hitters. I've worked with hitters who really love to go into a lot of detail, and I've also worked with hitters who love to just keep it as surface level as they can and then trust themselves and just react, because too much information leads them to overthink. Now, I'll leave that up to you, right? You have to know yourself best as to which category you fall into. But either way, you want to use the night before phase of your pregame routine as a way to prepare for the next day. Now, the other two goals of that pregame routine for the night before phase are to build your confidence and to relax. One of my favorite exercises for building your confidence the night before is just reading some self-talk, but you could also go through some visualization the night before as well. And then to help yourself relax, I actually recommend just kind of forgetting about it, right? Go watch a movie with your teammates, watch a movie with your friends, eat some dinner with your family, just do something else, play some video games, do what you want to do in order to help take your mind off of the next day. Because at that point, you've prepared physically, you've prepared mentally, you've done some visualization. There's not really much left for you to do other than worry. And you don't want to give yourself the opportunity to worry about the next day. You want to give yourself the opportunity to relax. And you can also perform some mindfulness meditation if you'd like. It's something that I have pretty much all the athletes that I work with in one-on-one coaching do. Now, if you are interested in learning more about the one-on-one coaching I offer, I put a link to that in the description below, so you can go ahead and click on that to learn more. Now let's move on to the day of phase of this pregame routine. So for the day of phase, the goals are pretty similar. We want to build confidence, we want to help you relax, but you also want to make sure you are getting yourself focused, laser focused for that game. So you're absolutely focused and you have your attention on that game, the game you're about to play. Now, there are a few different tools or exercises that you can choose for your day of phase of your pregame routine. These will include self-talk, visualization, mindfulness meditation, remembering past successes, and performance objectives. Now, if you'd like me to make some videos on any of these tools in particular, go ahead and leave those in the comments below, or let me know in the comments below. Now, for the objectives part, the last tool that I mentioned, the performance objectives, that's what I really want us to focus on right now. Because when it comes to overthinking, everything that we are trying to do is simplify your thinking when you step up to the plate. And a performance objective or a hitting objective can really help with that. So I want you to think about what your goal is during the week when you are practicing. You're practicing with your team, you're practicing on your own, you're doing tee work, you have your tee routine, you go into front toss, soft toss, you do some overhead, live BP, you do cage work, you're doing all this work that you need to do to prepare. But what is the goal of that work? You might say the goal of that work is to refine your mechanics. It's 100% correct, right? But what about the term muscle memory? What do you think that has to do with it? When you're training during the week, you're building muscle memory. When it comes to the game, you have to just let go. I was talking to a baseball player last night that I'm working with, and I was talking to him about this idea because he was telling me that when he's hitting right now, he was feeling really confident, but it's starting to go down because he had a few bad games, and he was saying that now he's starting to worry about his mechanics when he's hitting. And I was expressing to him that, when you go up to the plate, you cannot be overthinking your mechanics. You cannot be trying to think about your mechanics because you won't change your mechanics really at that point. You are hitting with the mechanics that you have, so you have to just let go. And that's what a performance objective can help you do. So performance objectives, they are simple and they are controllable and they are part of the process. Very, very simple objectives that I've had success with both baseball players and softball players involve focusing on the ball, focusing on being balanced, focusing on your timing, focusing just on the thought of being aggressive. It's just this idea of choosing one simple hitting objective that you will focus on when you go up to the plate. And we'll talk about how you can use that some more here in a second with this pre-at-bat routine. But with your pregame routine, once again, just to quickly review, you have the night before phase and you have the day of phase. So the night before, make sure that you are preparing, make sure that you're building your confidence, and then you give yourself an opportunity to relax until the next day. And then with the day of phase, go through some self-talk, visualization, mindfulness meditation, remember some past successes, build that confidence, and then also set your performance objective. Now, you don't have to use all of those tools. Choose maybe 2 or 3 of them, but definitely use that objective. Now let's move on to your pre-at-bat routine. So your pre-at-bat routine is broken into 3 different parts. You have when you are in the hole, you have on deck, and then you have when you're walking up to the plate, so right when you're getting ready to get into the batter's box. So when you are in the hole, this is the start of your at-bat. That's when your at-bat begins, and everything we're doing from that point forward is to calm your mind and get you focused, confident, and ready to hit. So when you're in the hole, there are 2 exercises that I recommend you use, and I recommend choosing between them. Don't try to do both of them. The first exercise is visualization. Now, this is by far my favorite thing to use, or my favorite tool to use whenever you are in the hole, but it does require you to close your eyes. So if you're in the dugout and you don't feel comfortable doing that, the second tool that I'll mention here in a second might be better for you. But with the visualization, what you want to do is you want to visualize the at-bat that you are about to have. So visualize the pitcher you'll face, visualize different pitch paths that they'll throw, and then see yourself get a hit, right? See yourself get a hit in different scenarios, different situations. See yourself and feel yourself run to first, run to second, but just go through that at bat to be building this memory of success in your mind. Because if we go all the way back to what I was talking about earlier in the video about this anxiety and about these worries and these fears, if you're thinking, I hope I don't strike out, I wonder what my stats will be like if I get out, I hope I don't screw up in this big moment, what kind of pictures are you putting into your mind? Are they confident pictures? Or are they negative and pictures of doubt and failure? What we want to do is make sure that you are seeing yourself as successful going up to bat. Now, this other option, so the other tool would be remembering past successes. So if you don't really feel comfortable doing a visualization, closing your eyes when you're in the hole in the dugout, just remember some past successes, right? Remember times where you've had some really good at-bats and you've gotten some great hits. Now let's move on to on deck. So when you're on deck, number one, first and foremost, you need to be timing up the pitcher. But what you can also do when you're on deck is a combination of self-talk and some breath work. If you want to calm your mind, it's about controlling your thoughts and getting yourself relaxed. Because a relaxed hitter is a dangerous hitter. So we use the self-talk to start building that confidence and taking control of your thinking. It's very natural that you have these worries because you want to perform well, right? That's why the overthinking is there. You want to perform your best, so it's normal. What we want to do is proactively make sure that you are thinking thoughts that you would like to have, thoughts that would be helpful. Simple things like, I've got this. This is going to be a great at bat. I believe in myself. I trust in my training. I feel great today. I've got this. I'm going to dominate this pitcher. Attack, attack, attack. Just think those kinds of thoughts in your head. But you also want to be doing some breathing. So while you're doing that and while you're timing up the pitcher, right, do some breathing. Deep breath in and out, right? In and out. Try to feel a rhythm because when you're hitting, you want to be in rhythm. If you are overthinking, one of the things we see happen when you overthink is that you get tense. You get kind of rigid, right? You're kind of stiff. So do that breathing, get into that rhythm. Now, this third part is when you're actually walking up to the plate. So now when you're walking up to the plate, you've done your visualization, you've repeated self-talk, you should be in a nice calm state because you've done your breathing. Now it's time to simplify and get ready to react. And this is where you bring back that objective that you set for your pregame routine or as part of your pregame routine, and you start reminding yourself of your objective as you walk up to the plate. You take another deep breath after you get your sign from coach, then you step into the batter's box. When we look at this pregame routine and then the pre-at-bat routine, the reason that this is so effective with helping you hit with a calm mind is because you are proactively taking steps to generate the mindset that you want going up to bat. Instead of finding yourself overthinking and all of a sudden think, okay, I have to calm myself down now. How do I calm my mind? How do I stop this overthinking? We know that you have a tendency to overthink. And so we are ahead of time putting these plans and actions in place to make sure that you are generating a calm mind. Now, of course, it's only effective if you use it and you use it consistently, because the more you use it, for instance, the more you do the visualization, the more you do the breathing and the self-talk, the better you'll get and the more effect it'll have on your hitting and on your mindset in particular. Now, the last part of this is what I was mentioning earlier about post at bat. So after you're at bat, what do you feel like is one of the main things that can keep you from having a calm mind for your next at bat? Well, it's overreacting and getting frustrated because of your last at bat, or even starting to nitpick your mechanics. We want to make sure that you have a plan in place or a post at bat evaluation in place to start getting into that calm mindset for the next at bat after your last at bat. And now this post at bat routine, let's keep it simple, right? So let's just make it 2 simple questions. The first one is, what did I do well that at bat? Even if you struck out, right? Were you consistent with your pre-at-bat routine? Did you swing at a good pitch? You might have struck out, but you had a good at-bat itself, right? So try to think, what did I do good that at-bat? It's very difficult if you got out, but you need to think that first. The second thing is, what can I learn from that at-bat? This is an important question because you don't want to start beating yourself up or tearing yourself down after the at-bat, because that will only carry into the next at-bat. That will only further reduce your confidence for your next at-bat and make it more difficult to hit with a calm mind. So you need to start thinking, how can I learn from this at-bat? Take something to learn, take something to improve, think maybe I can make the adjustment, right? What can I learn? Maybe I was too out in front, so next at-bat I want to remind myself to stay back a little bit. But taking something to learn actually has a positive impact on your next at-bat instead of just beating yourself up, which only will have a negative impact on your next at-bat. So that's a strategy that you can begin using to hit with a calm mind. And once again, it takes work. 100% it takes work. It might not be super effective the first time you use it, but if you stay consistent with it, I have seen this be very effective for the athletes that I work with in helping them hit with a calm mind. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And if you'd like me to cover any other topics about hitting or baseball or softball mental game in particular, please leave those in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I put out new videos each week on sports psychology and mental training.